Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to my channel, Mary Born ND, Gardening with Granny. And this is what's been happening in the last couple of weeks. This is the only format I can share on YouTube because my email is still not functioning. And every time my editing program wants to send me a code, they send it through email, which I don't get. So I am working on it, and I apologize that I don't have wonderful, interesting videos to share with you yet. Hopefully that will come because we've been doing some fun things. I want to share with you our visit to Eastern Market, which is the largest farmers market that I know of. And we also went to Zender's, which is uh, in Frankenmuth, and that's usually a destination for a lot of people when they come to Michigan. Okay, this is my sip and chat. My sip is water. So, what have we been doing? Okay, I shared with you a video that I labeled intimidation and procrastination, where I finally unboxed my electric canner, my Presto electric canner, and I canned tomato sauce and carrots. And I feel that a lot of people procrastinate because they're intimidated. If you didn't get to see that video, I'll link it in the description below. And intimidation is a form of fear. It may be fear that you'll make a mistake or that you will not be able to finish it. I don't know. There's a lot of times where fear enters into the reason for procrastination. So if you can take one little step. So my little step was to go to the user manual. Unfortunately, when I unboxed my canner, the user manual got lost. So I had to go online, try to find the right user manual. I thought I had the right user manual, so I progressed, but there were a couple of things that didn't quite click. So then I went to presto.com and I got the correct user manual. So it's a process. And I think during this process, you have to give yourself grace to make mistakes, that mistakes are going to happen, but that's also part of learning. In fact, I think when you make a mistake, you learn better. Sometimes, it's like touching a hot stove. Okay, I won't do that again. And that's kind of like a mistake that you didn't listen maybe to your parents, or maybe having an open flame. Well, this is an open flame. This is just one of those little candles that look like flames. Having that too close to something that might ignite. So sometimes our fears or intimidations are not well founded, they're just stuck in our head. And I think that social media has either attributed to these fears or um, maybe contributed to these fears, or maybe they've made them subside? I don't know. It depends. Sometimes our brain determines what we watch and what we hear and what we consider true. So this week, what I've been doing, if you've done any of my garden tours, you know that we have a Granny Smith apple tree. I bought my husband maybe 20 years ago, and it is pretty huge now. And it has been growing apples for quite some time. And we don't spray our apples, they're all organic. And what I did last year was I had somebody come in and start to shape the tree because I realized the tree wasn't getting airflow the way it needed to, which makes for bad apples. Excuse me. So this year we had a bumper crop of good apples. Not all of them were good, but a lot of them were. And I'm very pleased. Now, my husband says these are $700 apples because it took that much money to uh, make the tree healthier. And trees constantly need to be trimmed. And unfortunately, being octogenarian, I'm not going to get up there and climb the tree and trim it. So I have to pay somebody. So it isn't about the fact that I could buy organic apples cheaper someplace else. The fact is that I grew those apples. I know what they've been exposed to, and it makes me feel proud that I can grow or help something grow something so valuable. Apples are wonderful nutrition. You've probably heard the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, there's a lot to that because there's so much nutrition in apples. A lot of the nutrition lies between the skin and the pulp. And a lot of people just peel their skins. Uh, if you're not doing organic, that's one way, but some of that pesticide stuff comes from the inside out. So it is taken up by the tree and it goes into the apple systemically, not just on the peel. Some people can't digest the peel, some people can't chew the peel. So it's unfortunately the fact that you get better nutrition if you can eat the whole apple. Let's get on to the projects that we did this week. We did a lot of fun things. So, speaking of canning, we canned these wonderful apples. Now, as you can see, we took the peeling off of these apples because I want to make apple pie or streusel or some other dessert with it, and the skins don't do well with that. Also made some applesauce from the peelings, and can you see the bubbles? From the peelings and the scraps, we made apple scrap vinegar. And there's tons of information out there on YouTube to show you how to do that. But basically, you put your scraps in the jar, and for every quart, you want to do 2 tablespoons of sugar. I use raw white sugar. and then you fill it up with filtered water. I don't like using city water. They say that you could leave it out and the chlorine evaporates. But I have done that. 24 hours later, I'll put a cover on that exposed jar and shake it up, and I can smell the chlorine. So I don't trust chlorinated water. It interferes with the fermentation process. Now, the USDA does not recommend homemade vinegar when you're using vinegar in a canning product. So you can use this vinegar and you can test it. There are pH test strips. And basically, you want your vinegar around 4. If you buy vinegar, it guarantees it to be like a 5. So I feel that 4 is a good number. But again, don't canning is not my thing. I'm not teaching it, and um, I don't want to tell you what to do. So you go with your own heart. But you can make wonderful salad dressings with this, mixing it with cucumbers and sour cream. It has a slight apple taste, but of course it's vinegar, so it's quite sour. But there's a lot of uses for this vinegar. I like to put it on uh, when I'm making a roast, and it helps the meat be more tender. So that's a couple of things. Like I said, I made applesauce too, but one of the things I made that is so yummy was I took some frozen cranberries, put them in a pot, put about a half a cup of water over them, and a cup of sugar. Now, I don't think I'd use an entire cup of sugar next time because this is pretty sweet. But then I cut up, peeling and all, about 5 apples. It was about 2 cups. And I made, see if I could get this delicious cranberry. Oh, oh, so yummy. It's a cranberry apple. It's you can serve it over ice cream, can serve it next to like turkey. It's just oh, the best way is in yogurt. Oh, to die for. And so I'm so pleased that I have ways to use my apples. Now, I can't crunch on an apple yet, but my husband loves these apples. And well, after all, they were his gift. So I'm so glad that he likes to just pick it off the tree and munch on it. And I have the pleasure of making apple cider, apples scrap vinegar. Now, I've also made vinegars from the tops of strawberries. When you cut the strawberries off, stick them in a freezer. When you have a good amount of them, put them in a jar. Now, you don't have to use a quart. If you want to, remember the 2 tablespoons of sugar per quart. So if you're going to have that, 1 tablespoon per pint. And and you can make a really nice vinegar. Strawberry vinegar is really good as a dressing. You put a little honey, a little mustard. Oh my word, it's a very, very good dressing. So those are the things that I've been doing this week. I have made videos of them, and as soon as my editing program is up and running, I'll share them with you. So have a good rest of October. Oh my goodness, November's around the corner. So Enjoy the fall. It has been spectacular. So that's it for now. Thanks for joining. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.